Hey, church family, it's James here. As a congregation, we are reading through the book of Psalms. Today is day 2, which means it's Psalm 2. Let's get straight to it. Psalm 2. Why do the nations rage and the peoples plot in vain? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, Let us burst their bonds apart and cast away their cords from us. He who sits in the heavens laughs. The Lord holds them in derision. Then he will speak to them in his wrath and terrify them in his fury, saying, As for me, I have set my king on Zion, my holy hill. I will tell of the decree. The Lord said to me, You are my son. Today I have begotten you. Ask of me, and I will make the nations your heritage, and the ends of the earth your possession. You shall break them with a rod of iron, and dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Now therefore, O kings, be wise. Be warned, O rulers of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry and you perish in the way, for his wrath is quickly kindled. Blessed are all who take refuge in him. So as we arrive on the scene in Psalm 2, there is noise and turmoil on the earth. The nations are raging and plotting against who? Well, against the Lord and against his anointed King David. Look at verse 3. God's enemies, David's enemies, don't want to live under the Lord's rule. They have plans of their own. How does the Lord respond to this rebellion? Look at verse 4. He laughs. What makes God laugh? When we think we're in control and that his plans can somehow be thwarted. No, he is the God who is always in charge. He is the God who rules and overrules, and he has set his own king up on earth. And he will bring about his own will in the nations and across the entire earth. Now, ultimately, of course, we know this psalm isn't about King David, but is about King Jesus. When you finish this video, look up Acts chapter 4, 25 through 26, and see how the New Testament applies this psalm to Christ. That in the face of chaos and evil and derision, God orchestrated all of human history to bring about his rule on earth, to bring grace and joy and purpose to all who would have faith in him. And isn't this a good thing to remember in these times when there's chaos on the earth? We remind ourselves that our God is still in control and he's still at work to bring about his good purposes, which are for our own good. When things spiral, what do? Well, look, verse 11. We serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. We come to the one who is in charge and we serve with fear, rejoice with trembling. It's kind of a strange verse, isn't it? How do you kind of pair these ideas? How can you serve someone and be afraid? How can you rejoice while trembling? Well, of course, for us, when we see God in all his might, in his power, in his majesty, when we see him as he really is, it does create a sense of awe in us, a sense of trembling and fear in us. And yet, because of his goodness and because of the love that he's given us in Christ, we can serve this kind of God and even rejoice as we do so, enjoying the ride as we live under his rule and reign. In these chaotic times, what do? Well, we take refuge in him. Psalm 2. He who sits in the heavens laughs, but blessed are all who take refuge in him.